7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Greetings, good morning, how the heck are you? Hoping everybody's having a great weekend so far. Live from a multiple location station on this 5th day of March 2015. Welcome into the Shooter's Gallery, cocked, locked, and ready to have a little fun. And then some. Yours truly, live from Studio 1, the Magic City Motormouth Fast Study Lane at the announcer's table. And from the promoter's desk, over in the Peach State, Mr. Shane Knowles. What's up, Shane?
Oh, I'm doing well. I wish I was at the promoter's desk. Instead, I am at a live remote, already here at the venue, the VFW Fairgrounds, setting up for this evening's momentous, huge event in Carrollton, Georgia.
Road trip, ready to roll. We just didn't get the hashtag in place early enough. That's just never know.
Re-hashtag. I got to bring that one up.
Re-hashtag. There you go. Chaos from this past Wednesday night. First off, thank you to everybody listening in this morning, courtesy of BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, the Beyond Ringside Radio app, all of the TuneIn mobile app. Thank you to everybody. Let's see, Shoutcast, Winamp, your favorite standalone app, and of course, Ustream. Let's go straight into it. Got a lot going on, and we're going to be on this special 90-minute episode, slated to be joined in about 25 minutes by pro wrestling star Nigel Sherrod. Shane, thank you for setting that one up. Greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. Glad to have him aboard.
Going to be joined at the top of the hour by the king of all wrestling media, as he has known, Mr. Gene Jackson, coming on board. And before I go any further, I want to go ahead and say, noticing the date, a very special happy birthday to longtime friend and one of the tribe here at Studio One. That's what I like to call the family around here. Mike Grogan celebrating his birthday, and I do believe he's hit a milestone. And yes, officially, Mike, that means you're old and you've caught up. Ha 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 ha. I didn't stay older than you for long. But even though I can't be here tonight.
Oh, I just wanted to say happy birthday, Mike, and hitting the milestone. I hope you didn't do any damage that would cause the insurance company to be called.
Put it this way, I'll be in Georgia tonight, so I think I will be out of the blast zone. Unlike everybody who was at a little place called Killing Time last Saturday night over in Pell City, Alabama. Oh, that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Indeed.
Yeah, strange things happen when you go out to hang with Fast Eddie Lane on a Saturday night. You know, fortunately there were no farm animals involved, thank God, and of course no major explosives either. Let's dive straight on into it. Roadblock, 1 week from tonight, March 12th, live on the WWE Network. They have been starting to announce more matches. Of course, the main event is going to be WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H defending against Dean Ambrose. Let me go. And from that vantage point, we talked a little bit about it this past throughout the course of this week here on the Beyond Ringside family of shows. But if you missed SmackDown this week, you basically started the show with Ambrose hijacking a chair and taking a little bit of a comfort break inside the ring, and he basically alluded in no uncertain terms to the factor that this could actually affect the entire main event at WrestleMania. Did you catch SmackDown so far?
I did, yeah, and I really enjoyed, at least if they're going to do this on the WWE Network, special, that they're trying to give the illusion that this could, per se, hijack the plans that are in place for the granddaddy of them all.
I was amazed that they let him go that far. It's like, and all of a sudden it's like Ambrose is going, well, if I win, I could be defending against my good buddy Roman. I could be, Triple H could pull a rematch clause out of his hat, or I'm supposed to have a match with Brock Lesnar. It could be 2, it could be 3. Why not just make it a 4-way? It's like, wow, they all gave some thought to this before they sent him out with that microphone, and I was impressed.
I was going to say kudos, because that is so refreshing, and we've been conditioned that these first 3 or 4 WWE Network-only events from Japan or MSG, that they were just fodder. They were basically a Saturday night's main event or a taping. This is shaping up, especially with Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar as well, to feel like something that can have some major implications going forward.
I'm also really kind of morbidly curious, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for Roadblock, the question is going to be asked, or is being asked on WWE.com right now. Will Suplex City crumble in the face of fear? And apparently they are going to put Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt on Roadblock. Scared, surprised, impressed? Shane?
At first, I was agitated. That was knee-jerk reaction because as anyone who is listening on this family of shows knows, I had advocated for that to be a WrestleMania match, and then I thought in Eddie Lane terms. I said, wait a minute. This is only going to be available on the network. Mm-hmm. Bray and Brock for the first time, I guarantee you they'll get some subscribers. Are we talking 10,000? Who knows? Are we talking 373? Who knows? But I guarantee you they'll get some subscribers just for that match. So brilliant.
I think that they have pulled out all the stops because here's the trick, because here's one of their advertising campaigns. If you order now, your free month technically will be Mania.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Because remember, new subscribers get a free month.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they're wording it to everybody is, if you order the WWE Network now at the amazingly low price of, well, you know the finish, but they are giving basically the network Mania for free. And this is for, what, $55, $60, $70, depending on where you're at? I mean,
you're talking about traditional pay-per-view prices?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in standard HD, I believe it is $59.99. Excuse me, standard definition $59.99. If you wanted to watch it in full 1080 HD, that is a $69.99 pay-per-view this year.
It just, the whole thing has got me really kind of flabbergasted. And already the NXT tag team titles are going to be up for grabs on Roadblock, which for me is like, they're going to, wait a minute, we have WWE tag champions in the New Day, but they're going to bring up technically the NXT tag champions and put them on a WWE pay-per-view. Nice touch. Very nice touch.
Can I float this out here too? And this is not derogatory towards WrestleMania at all. It is. I'm thinking more positively with what WWE is doing. I am more excited for Roadblock right now, as we say in March 5th, than I am for WrestleMania.
I am too. Honestly, I am too. The whole thing for me has just been one of those where you have, and you said it perfectly, what could have had the potential to be a Saturday night's main event. And all of a sudden it's like WWE Championship is going to be defended, Bray and Brock technically for the first time. And now the NXT Tag Team Championships are on the line. It's like, holy nutmeg. Okay. But, the women's title may not be on the line because apparently injury took place to Charlotte at, let me see, I want to say it was, last night's WWE live event.
Oh, wasn't aware of this. Oh, no.
According to, and I'm getting the story from Lords of Pain. I'm not reading directly off WWE's website. So courtesy Mark Middleton. WWE Divas Champion Charlotte suffered an injury at last night's live event in Minneapolis. Her match with Becky Lynch was stopped after about 2 minutes when Lynch hit Charlotte in the face with a knee. Charlotte started bleeding and was helped to the back by a referee. Becky, of course, clearly concerned. It appears Charlotte has it appeared that Charlotte may have had a broken nose, and there was a large amount of blood to clean up. And Lords of Pain, and I'm sure about 5,600 other sites have already posted pictures. So,
I think we're going to see a mixed tag in the near future: John Cena and Charlotte versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
Well, considering Roman Reigns was supposed to have, they're showing him with a broken nose. It's like, can you put Charlotte and Reigns in a mixed tag team match? So there's any number of ways that can go at this point. Let's go ahead and shift gears just a little bit. Later tonight, live on pay-per-view, it is going to be UFC 196. Now, of course, a lot of people know that Nate Diaz, kind enough, professional enough to step in and take this fight on about 11 days' notice with Conor McGregor. Because because the original fight slated to be, of course, Conor McGregor versus Dos Anjos. And I'm sitting back. They've done a good job, technically, of damage control for this and to try to help build up Nate Diaz. Of course, one of the more controversial names in the UFC. But in my opinion, this should be. I'm holding my prediction for about 5 seconds. Shane, I want to hear what you've got to say about this.
I wanted to say hats off to Conor McGregor for agreeing to fight outside of his weight division, with this being on 11 days' notice. I thought that was noble for a fighting champion. Conor McGregor gets all of his wins by KOs or TKOs, and he's promised another one. I don't see that changing tonight.
No, I don't see it changing in the least. And actually, I've got second round on this one. I believe Diaz is going to be able to throw a couple of curves. Logistically speaking, coming into it with a 19-10-0 record, McGregor coming in at 19-2-0. You made the reference to the KO-TKO percentage for McGregor. It's 89%. Whereas Nate...
And Diaz is about 4 inches taller, I believe, than McGregor.
They've got, 69 to 72 inches. McGregor at 69 inches, Diaz at 72.
Yeah, I've actually done a little homework on some UFC, Eddie. I came prepared.
Then you're one step ahead of me.
I'm also going to call this one. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks Holly Holm drops the fight this evening, because that rematch with Ronda Rousey has to happen.
I love the concept that they're really trying to push what's the word I'm looking for? The overall grand scheme of things in this fight. And I have a world of respect for Miesha Tate. Very talented in cage, in octagon, however you want to, very talented fighter. I will call the keys to victory for this one, just like I called the keys to success in the Holm Rousey fight. If Holly Holm comes out early and establishes her space, she's got a great kickboxing background, use it. Just like you did against Rousey, just like you did against 8 other opponents. You've got a great boxing background, former world boxing champion, 3 different classes. Establish the jab. Do not let Miesha Tate have a way to get inside your defensive perimeter. I do, however, see this one also going second round. I don't think Miesha Tate is going to be able to take Holly Holm past the second round. Shane?
Same here.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say TKO finish. Knockout, TKO, either one.
Yeah, I don't see it going to this.
Do you see any possibility that Holly would actually find a way to submit Miesha Tate, or the other way around?
With boxing and kickboxing backgrounds, I'm sure submission maneuvers are in the forte, but no, I don't see a submission. That'd actually be a shock.
Yeah, if Holm were actually to pick up a submission victory, I'd sit back and go, you know something? Another fight that I really would like to see this evening, and matter of fact, it will be on pay-per-view, and we may have enough time to get to B-dubs after the live event tonight at the VFW Fairgrounds. The number 12 ranked fighter, I'm just bit my tongue, 205 class, Corey Anderson, Beast in 25-8 is his nickname, taking on Filthy Tom Lawler. I have a feeling that this is going to be a slugfest. Now, both fighters coming in, let's see, Anderson coming in 8-1, Lawler coming in 10-5-0 with 1 no contest. These two guys have a lot to prove in the 205 class, which a lot of people are starting to question all over again, myself included. Granted, there's a number of talented fighters out there, but I question the matchmaking in the UFC, and that's something that I have been very leery about for a while, and that is the matchmaking procedures they put in place. Normally, the 205 class, sorry folks, has a tendency to be overlooked unless you're in the top 4 as far as the rankings go. Other than that, it's kind of like catch as catch can. Now, is there a weight class that has actually thrown you for that kind of a loop in recent history, whether it be UFC or any other company?
Not to recent knowledge, no, sir.
And like I said, it's the fights that don't always get the trumpet heralding that I'm really going to start paying attention to, because granted, they're coming in, both of them, with right at 10 plus fights. But the fact of the matter stands, either one of these guys could easily move up in the rankings in that weight class, 205, or even if they decided to go up to the heavyweight or down 1. So, like I said, it's the ones that aren't the main event. Plus, you've got another ladies' fight this evening, and I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. Amanda Nunes taking on Valentina Shevchenko. And that's another one that I'm really curious about because I think this is actually going to be, now this is, I believe, a weight class drop 1. No, it's bantamweight also. I apologize for that one. But like I said, going to be ready, checking it out a little bit later. Tonight, UFC 196. I almost have to wonder how this is going to, how having to cancel a pay-per-view would affect their numbering system, but it almost looks like they're going to be right on track to put 200 right around July. I just hope all the champions can find a way to stay healthy. Sorry, this is just absolutely killing me today. Got the question for you. This weekend, we're going. Let's stick around Las Vegas for a second. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
This weekend, Cobalt 400, live from Las Vegas. NASCAR is off to a flying start, even with all of the controversy around the packages and everything, including the charter package, which I'm sorry, I'm still not a fan of. I think too many teams were given a charter. If you're going to give 36 teams, keep 43 cars on the track. Cut it back, give each car owner a max of 2, and let them start trading or buying out each other. Then you make it fair for the little guys. But I do believe you've got Kurt Busch on the pole for the Cobalt race tomorrow. Do you think he can go bell to bell?
I would not be shocked. Kurt Busch qualified very well in Atlanta last week, continues to run well. If I'm looking at potential winners in Las Vegas, certainly the names like Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, and Carl Edwards come to mind.
If I have the correct page in front of me still, because my browser has been going bat nuts crazy this morning. Thank you, Macromedia and Shockwave and Adobe Flash. Row 1, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano. Row 2, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski. Row 3, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick. Row 4, Eric Almirola, Casey Kane. And Row 5, Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. Amazingly, not in that top 10 in Las Vegas is Jeff Gordon. Why?
I know, right?
Because he retired. It's still weird. Is it to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every time, and I say every time, and I say that through the Gatorade duels at Daytona, as well as the Sprint Unlimited, the Great American Race itself, as well as Atlanta, and qualifying for both races I've been able to catch since they've been later in the evening on Fridays. It's still weird, not so much to hear Jeff Gordon in the booth, but to not see him in the 24, and the 24 to have a different sponsor. That's going to take some time. Yeah,
it really will. The whole thing still has me a little bit buzzed. You've heard me on point for a couple. Shane, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thoughts, ideas, concepts? What's on your brain this morning?
Sure. Wanted to bring up a very interesting point. We talk a lot about the Golden State Warriors in the NBA, and rightfully so, as they are threatening the single-season wins record of the 96-97 Chicago Bulls, which is 72. Golden State's sitting at 55-5 through 60 games with 22 to go. But an interesting point, the San Antonio Spurs are 52-9, and nary a soul is talking about them. And I think it is so crazy that there are still 2 games remaining head-to-head, Golden State and San Antonio. If San Antonio is able to capture both of those, and who knows, all this Golden State historic single-season run, they might not even be the number 1 seed in their own conference. That is baffling. You know me, I love chaos. So.
Oh, dude, you're not the only one, but I still got to sit back and say one little thing. And you know that the Spurs are loving this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's right into their MO, yeah.
It really does, because they love to fly under the radar, and it's like all of a sudden when the time hits and we're headed for the playoff brackets, everybody's going, where the hell how did they get what? And
that's let's say Golden State does set the single season record. They go 73-9, and the Spurs go 70-12 and are a 2 seed. But it's the 3rd best record ever.
Yeah, exactly. Now, For me, I'm really looking forward to the Western Conference this year. The East has been just really topsy-turvy because I never know who's going to do what on any given day. I mean, it's kind of like tonight, Boston versus Cleveland at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I've got to sit back and look at this game and go, there are no definites in this one.
No, and you segued perfect for me, being a longtime Celtic fan. I love the job former Butler head coach Brad Stevens has done with this young roster in Boston. They had the third best overall record in the East, and their winning streak at home last night went up to 12 games. That is third longest in the association, which is nice, except for the fact that Spurs and Warriors have not dropped a game at home all year. So there's all kinds of things that are getting paled in comparison to what the Dubs are doing out in Oakland. But the Celtics have already defeated Cleveland last month on a buzzer beater. It would not shock me if they did it again, and it's getting close here with Cleveland. Toronto, I believe, is 2 games behind Cleveland, and Boston is 4 behind. So LeBron James and company are not guaranteed that number 1 seed.
No, not in the least. And, I mean, it's like you've got a number of different things going upside down. And, yeah, with the Spurs being a 52-9, and they're playing the Sacramento Kings tonight at 8:30 Eastern time, and that's going to be shown on the NBA League Pass. I mean, looking at it, go back, and I believe they are 9-1 over their last 10 games, 29-0 record at home, 23-9 on the road for the Spurs this year. And once again, everybody's talking about Golden State. Everybody's talking about Steph and company. Which I'm going to sit back and ask the question that I keep hearing being asked all the way across the board. So I'm going to bounce this one to you. Has Steph Curry genuinely eclipsed LeBron James at this point in time?
Yes, because I think here's the reason I want to see them go for that single-season record and not rest players. They've already won the championship. And in my opinion, the championship is like a diploma. They're going to hand that out every year to somebody. So you've already got the title. I'm not, negating the NBA championship. But you've already been a champion. Now you have the chance to be historic, legendary, something no one has ever done and write your name in the history book. But as far as LeBron, yeah, I mean, I think people can identify with Steph Curry. He's a little guy, the underdog factor. People can relate sometimes as opposed to guys that are 6'8", 7 foot. But for this particular season, I'm not saying he cannot recapture it, but the 2015-2016 NBA season has been defined by Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I mean, if they're on, I flip the channel over. They're that good. They're that much fun to watch. And it's been a long time since I could say, oh, that's must-watch NBA TV. And I'm not even – the Celtics are my team, but I appreciate everything the Warriors do. They do it the right way.
Agreed.
And I think kudos to them. Draymond Green, I've said this before on BR, Steph Curry is the best player in the league. I think Draymond Green is the MVP of the Golden State Warriors. The other night when they defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder, he didn't make a single field goal. So, kids, if you think all you have to do is score to affect the game, Draymond Green, 14 assists, 14 rebounds, 6 steals, and he's a power forward.
And I've really got to sit back and wonder something. And this has been one of the most obvious questions. Is it because... it's kind of like in college football. Everybody always talks about the East Coast bias. And other than college football, do you personally see any other industry or sport that is affected by that East Coast, West Coast bias?
Certainly baseball. I think the Dodgers, the Giants, the Angels, the A's, the Mariners, so many of their games start at 10:30 or 10:45 Eastern time. It's hard when still all of your newspaper outlets just about, are all the big ones, the USA Today, the New York Times, that's all East Coast with coverage. A lot of times still in 2016, if you're going by the newspapers, you do not get their box scores and results until the next day after.
Right.
And I think for some people that's still a bias, or certainly if you're not following the papers, if you're trying to stay up and watch on SportsCenter, you're not getting the results of these games till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean...
So, yes, definitely creates a bias. I mean, because if it's teams that come on at 7 o'clock, or say to me, the Chicago Cubs mainly play day games, you know the results that's easier to keep up with because it's part of your workflow day.
You know, and I look and I see that NASCAR tries to avoid that bias and actually make it fair all the way across the board, because you know that normally they will try to start a Sunday race, designated Sunday afternoon race, around 1 p.m. local time, 12:30, 1 o'clock local time. Now, when they're at Talladega, because of the factor that Talladega does not use lights, they want to try to make sure to get the race in as possible if they have multiple cautions or multiple wrecks, or even, as they faced in recent days, a red flag or two. So I can see that one. And I know West Coast fans are like, I got to get up at 10:30 in the morning and watch that. Where's my beer? Okay. It's not just a Bama thing or a Georgia thing, kids. Race fans will sit back and legitimately go, I don't think I've ever heard a race fan in my life sit or stand and go, honey, lovey, where's my Perrier?
Got some Dom Perignon out there in the caution.
Hey, Bubba, you got my Jack Daniels? No. God, I'm going to get this out of my system before this day is over with.
You'll probably hear more of this. Hey, where's that bottle of Boone's? It's a commercial.
Oh, God. I didn't know I was 18 again, son of a gun. I'm going to give you holy terror right now. What's the word? Thunderbird.
I have a trivia question for you, Mr. Lane.
Bring it on.
Our guest.
Bring it on.
Music, which I know is your strong suit. There are 2 different solo artists that had the rare honor of being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and the Gospel Hall of Fame.
That one is going to be Elvis Presley.
That is correct.
Now, you said the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Gospel Hall of Fame and the what was the third one? Country?
Country.
My gut says Vince Gill.
Ooh, that's a good guess. If he was in the Rock and Roll, you would be correct.
The only other one that really pops into my mind, and I'm going to get funny looks. Go ahead and just look at your speakers funny, folks. Ray Charles.
Ooh, no, that's a good guess. It is the late, great Man in Black, Johnny Cash.
Dang gummit. Did not see that coming. Folks, tell you what, we are going to go to the bottom of the hour break. When we come back, slated to be joined by professional wrestling star Nigel Sherrod right here on the Shooters Gallery. Stay tuned. The party continues right after this.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hello again, everybody, and this is Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Radio for the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join us every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself, Rob Hefner, and Brian Taylor as we bring you our thoughts and feelings on the world of professional wrestling and everything in between. As my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks again for listening to the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
This is Super Cop Dick Justice, America's favorite wrestler, American-born hero. And right now, like a stiff bear hug, you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Bambi Weeble with Masters of Ring Entertainment, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
On this 5th day of March. Nice. Cruising by at a good pace. I'm happy with this. Welcome back into the Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery, multiple location station from the announcer's table, Fast Eddie Lane. Welcome back. From the promoter's desk, Shane Knowles.
Oh, Eddie, good to be back. I'm excited. We've got a special guest on this morning.
Very happy, very proud to be able to say, ladies and gentlemen, joining us at this time, professional wrestling star Nigel Sherrod. Nigel, great to have you on board this morning.
Great to be on the show, and I'm loving being on the show with my partner Shane.
The Peach State Wrestling Alliance Tag Team Champions. On the show at the same time, Scary Thought. I'm going to ask a question right off the bat, and I know I said it one way, but I keep hearing people say it multiple ways. Which is the accurate pronunciation of your last name, Nigel?
Well, it's Sherrod, but I'm from South Georgia, and I hear people say Sherrod all the time. So it's got to the point now where I go with whatever, because I've been called worse so many other times that if it's anywhere close, I'm happy with that. So.
I have to ask this question. I'm going to go ahead and lead straight off the bat. Now, of course, like I said just a second ago, the PWA Tag Team Champions, both of y'all in the house right now, you have been a part of some great tag teams as well as done very well for yourself in singles. And I have to ask, is there a bias? Do you seem to be, there are times when you seem to be a little bit more comfortable in tag team wrestling. Is that the case?
I've really enjoyed it. Are you asking me or?
Yes.
Shayna. Yeah.
Nigel.
No, I enjoy being in a team, and because it differentiates. A lot of times in professional wrestling, I mean, you're your own person, and a lot of times when people like the Beautiful Ball Besties or B3, as you call them, it's fun to get in there and mix it up with a team like that. I'll have to say that being partners with Shane, and this is a shoot, 100%. It's one of the most fun times for me because we are really good friends in and outside of the ring. So that's also a cool part of it, the camaraderie, being a part of something like that.
Now, before I go into tonight, before I bring Shane back on board, I've got to ask the question. You have been in so many different areas. When it comes down to it, okay, I had 3 questions hit my brain at the same time, so I'm going to go with the one that's screaming at me the loudest. Geographic regions. Fan bases, which has been the most insane or crazy, boisterous, loud, nutmeg to work in front of?
I'm trying to think where I've caused the most riots. I'll tell you the two places that come to mind now is naturally Carrollton, the West Georgia area in particular, has always been great for me personally. And I'll also say this, though. I'll add Norcross to the area as well because that's where we do the Mucha Lucha shows. And those crowds are insane. They're insanely crazy. So those are my 2 favorite areas. But usually in the middle of nowhere is a great place to perform. You've got great, just great fans, that come out and maybe Dwight Yoakam or whoever doesn't come to their town every week and So we're the live entertainment, for that particular week, and they're ready to see it. And but West Georgia probably is my favorite. If I had to pick one, that's probably my favorite area.
One other quick one that's on my brain real quick, and this is one of the other ones that was screaming real loud. A lot of people have seen you on the other side of the microphone, not the cutting the promo side, but also on the announcing and commentary side. I've got to ask, what originally drew you into that direction?
Well, actually, that's the thing that got me into the business. If I'm being honest,
yeah.
And because I was a huge radio fan when I was a kid, but I was also a huge wrestling fan. So I joined up with a local radio station in Athens, Georgia, Rock 103.7, and we interviewed wrestlers and the Hogan family and so on and so forth. And anyway, lo and behold, a local wrestling show came to town. I was 16. I helped promote it, basically for free. They allowed me to do a segment, and that's how I got involved. But I've always loved radio, and I've always had a passion to be a broadcaster as well. That's kind of fallen by the wayside, lately with the wrestling. But I mean, I've had a fun run at it. It's not been my focus as of late, but I certainly have enjoyed all the fun I've been able to have with that.
This is where I get to say to my tag team partner, come on with your tag team partner, Shane Knowles. Come on in with Nigel Sherrod.
I wanted to touch base on a couple of things Nigel said. It's so true, the tag team between he and I, it's just organic. We're good friends outside the ring. I've hung out on a number of occasions. Had the opportunity to spend the day with Nigel at the Days of the Dead convention that I spoke about on this very program about a month ago. Good times. And this is something I haven't even told Nigel when I confirmed him yesterday for the radio spot. I wanted to say this was so cool to me. There was a couple of fans that said, you guys look like you're really having fun out there. And I said, yeah, we are. I said, because I like Nigel. I love him to death. And they said, well, it shows. They said, you guys haven't been a tag team long, but you can tell that you're friends. And I don't know, it just seemed pretty cool to me that some fans picked up on that. But I can also vouch for him that the Mucha Lucha crowd in Norcross, Georgia is as rabid and as insane and as different as anything that I've ever experienced. I think I've been around the Northeast crowd, the Southeast crowd of wrestling. That was an experience the 2 or 3 times I've been up there. They are loud, they are vocal, and you have to keep in mind, sometimes these events are marathons. They're not sprints. They go in duress of 5.5, 6 hours, and they never get tired. But speaking of Nigel's broadcast side, that's been a dream for me now that I've got you both on the, or not that we're all together on the program. I would love to see Nigel sit in with you, Eddie, sometime and do some commentary on DVD, because he actually did that. It's been about 6 years ago.
I would be honored.
I'd love to do it. Let's do it.
Did I? Did I hesitate?
I think the last time I might have been a little rude. You know what? Now that I think about it, the last commentary that I did for Peach State was, I think, a midget match. Yes, sir.
I wasn't in the ring. No, I'm kidding.
I pulled out every Bobby Heenan joke that I knew and more. So.
That would have kept us there for a while, because Heenan always had some good references when it came to the vertically chat. Heenan had great references when it came to anything. That's the scary part.
Very true. I do have a question for my tag team partner, Nigel. I don't think it's something I've ever asked you. I had first met you in 2009 when you worked for Peach State up the road in Bremen, Georgia. But could you talk us through maybe a little bit for the listeners your first match, as well as like where you mostly spent your first year wrestling? Well, my first match was actually a battle royal, which was a great way to to be involved in wrestling. My friend Ryan Michaels, who wrestled for Peach State, I think he was a tag team champion, if I'm not mistaken, at Peach State. Yes, he and Matt Sells. Yes, right. And we were both getting in this together, and we had done a little bit of this, a little bit of that beforehand. Naturally, got to train a little bit, but we got in the ring, and there's Rick Michaels, and he was a babyface. Can we say that on this program? Is that cool?
Sure.
And
you didn't catch Nigel.
so
You didn't catch
we-
the title, did you?
No. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no, you're fine.
And and so he was babyface. We were babyfaces as well. And Rick started to attack Ryan, when we slid in the ring. And he goes, I'm a babyface, Rick. And he goes, facing the turnbuckle. And I'll never forget that. He just slammed his face right in the turnbuckle and like ripped his shirt off and started chopping him. And oh man, it was so crazy. But so that was the first year of the business. Really, I was more of an announcer than I was a wrestler because, Rick called me up one day and he said, "Hey, you're an announcer, right?" And at that point, I'd done the spot at the local wrestling show, but that's it. I wasn't really involved. And I was like, "Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I've announced before." And I think he knew that I hadn't, but he would, usually give me no money, have me go run and get a couple of boxes of cigarettes and throw popcorn bags at my head for the first year. So that was my experience for the first year. But I owe a lot of my in-ring experience and training and so on and so forth to Selena Majors, a.k.a. Bambi. She whipped my butt all up and down the roads for a good part of my career, or at least the beginning of it.
Got to throw this one out there, and this is what I like to call my 3-2 pitch because it always makes you think. Going through it, and whether it be in pro wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, NASCAR, football, basketball, baseball, every situation in which we're placed, we always have a tendency to learn something about something else, and eventually we learn something about ourselves. For Nigel Sherritt, what is one thing in particular that pro wrestling has taught you about you?
Wow. Gee whiz.
That's
a
normally
great question.
That's normally my Tuesday night question.
Well, I'll tell you this. For me personally, I enjoy giving joy to other people, one way or the other. Whether I'm on the good guy's side or the bad guy's side, I've always enjoyed seeing people's reaction, the smiles on their face. I don't know if that's really learning anything about yourself per se, but that's what comes to mind. I mean, that's one thing that's been, revealed to me is I just enjoy giving other people happiness. That could be my worst day, but if I can make a little kid in the front row smile, that's what it's about, as far as I'm concerned. Or if giving somebody a hug at one of the shows, that makes my day. So I don't know if that's learning anything about yourself, but for me, that's something that pro wrestling, I guess, has brought to my attention. Is, appreciating the little things, I suppose, is the way to sum it up. That might not be the kind of answer you're looking for, but that's what comes to mind.
There's no wrong answer.
That's true, but I'm trying to think of anything else. And I mean, I certainly have learned a lot about things, and I've learned what a left-handed cigarette is from Tommy Rich. Didn't know what that was.
Oh!
Stuff like that, but...
Somebody say something about fired up.
Hey, Bobby, hand me that left hand.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. We can use language on the program or no?
Hashtag hell damn ass. FCC.
Okay, yes. Okay, so we were in the locker room, and he goes, "Hey, you got it. You got one of them left-handed cigarettes?" And I said, of course, at this point, I had never even touched a beer. I had no idea what a left-handed cigarette was. and I go, "What's a left-handed cigarette?" He goes, "Weed, dumbass." Like, oh no. Sorry, Tommy, if you're listening, but I'm sure everybody knows.
I'm looking at the phone line just to see if he calls. I think he has the number. No, but seriously.
No, he's not. He hadn't woken up yet.
Speaking of people who I'm surprised have not lit up the phone line, and I have to do this question. Now, in the world of pro wrestling, in the southeastern U.S. in particular, there is a manager who at one time was one of the most, I don't want to use the word hated. I don't want to use the word unpopular. I'm just like to say, you mentioned the term causing a riot, and this man is one who has been able to do it over the course of his run up until recently when he was reintroduced to the Peach State crowd by Shane Knowles, your tag team partner, as the necessary evil, the wicked nemesis. I'm going to throw this one at you, Nigel. Considering the factor of the rep that Wick has had over the years as being probably one of the best antagonist managers. Okay, I'll say it. Heel managers. There, we can say it. It's a shooter's gallery. Trust me on this one. Noting the factor of the chemistry that has been in place between the Wicked Nemesis and Shane Knowles as manager in charge, has that surprised you in the least that everything has worked so well?
Well, I was actually a little concerned about that because I'd never worked with Nemesis, or Wicked Nemesis, let me say, before. Now, I've worked around him, and I've seen him before, and, I know of his reputation, but I didn't know how that was going to mesh up well. And I'll tell you this, we were wrestling, Shane and I stuck out my leg to make a tag, and Shane, because of the influence of Wicked Nemesis, went to pull on my leg to give me a little leverage on a hold. So that was quite the interesting time. But Wicked Nemesis has been great to work with, and sometimes with people like Beautiful Fault Besties, well, you need some necessary evil in there, and so I think it's worked out perfectly. Clearly we're the champions, so I would think that maybe that's a good sign.
Having picked up the Peach State Wrestling Alliance Tag Team Championship, the two of y'all getting ready for the rematch tonight, and I want to get both of y'all in on this one. After the title win over the B3s, as I call them, the Beautiful Bald Besties, because damn it, sometimes it's just difficult to say that on a Saturday morning with 2 hours sleep, which I think I'm being kind. But now, getting ready for the rematch, what is one of the main things, and I'll go to Shane first, what is one of the main things that you're going to be looking out for from the Besties tonight?
I think motivation will be a factor because I saw what they did to #TrendingNow. Clearly upset over dropping the tag team titles, and who wouldn't be, but as Ace Haven and Charles Anders looked like they had victory in their hands against the Get Along gang, the Besties came out and absolutely annihilated both of them. So I watched that on the monitor, drinking a bottle of water, and I said, those guys look pissed. They look motivated. I think they're taking it serious now. That maybe it was a little egg on the face earlier in the night, because I don't think they took Nigel and myself seriously, and we walked out with the tag team titles. But I paid very close attention to that beatdown in the match, because I had not seen that side of Michael Stevens and Zach Edwards. So I know tonight I'm looking for, I think, like I said, I think they'll take this more seriously. So I think it's going to be a very different match than what we had February the 20th. But I'm with Nigel and myself, we know that going in. It's a good thing we're not going to be caught off guard. Certainly we didn't leave the event. After we won the tag team titles, we stuck around and did some research, just because basically we're scouting Ace Haven and Charles Anders as well as Marco Polo and P-Dog, because it's like the winner of this looks like they would probably be in line for a tag team title shot, and then you see what the Besties pulled. And, I don't know how it's going to go down tonight, but I do know this. It's a lot easier to stay the champion than it is to become the champion, because we know very full well the rules in place, and Nigel's been on the other side of the law, so to speak, as well. And with Nemesis in our corner, the strategy has been set that, they have to beat you. We don't have to beat them.
I will use the 2 words that I started on this show a number of years ago, and those 2 words have been picked up even on the national forum because the acknowledgement has been there, and I call it Champion's Advantage. First off, Nigel, let me throw that same question your direction. What is the one thing in particular you're looking for from the Besties tonight?
Well, I have to agree with Shane on that. We saw, I saw it firsthand because we actually had come to help out Charles of Trending Now, and Charles and Ace, really. And, those guys, they struck during the match, and it was, really uncalled for attack. And things like that. But you saw that maybe they were turned up a little bit because I think they were embarrassed, because a lot of times people look at me, or sometimes people look at Shane as, well, Nigel, you're more famous for it, and they're not wrong at this. I've had my TV exposure and experiences being a broadcaster. I'm just a boy from South Georgia, and I know Shane being from Alabama. I mean, we're just kind of two good old boys, and we're not necessarily the most experienced wrestlers on the show. That's not saying we don't have good experience. That's just saying that sometimes we've dedicated our life to other things, and that's not our forte. Don't get me wrong, I've been blessed to have a lot of great matches and things like that, but when it comes to the Beautiful Bald Besties, they're very technically sound and revered, and we know the reputation that they have, and I don't think that they were expecting that we were going to be able to pick up the big victory. And to be quite honest with you, when Shane was able to make the pinfall, it was so out of nowhere. The last thing I can remember is just running across the ring and making sure that Zach Edwards could come in and interfere. So we're expecting them to be turned up today. We've talked about this on the phone several times, and we've really stepped up our training as a part of that over the past couple of weeks. Not only in-ring training, but been hitting the gym quite a bit. I know Shane definitely has been as well. So we're ready. I think we're ready for those guys.
I've got to throw this one out before I go into full promo mode. I was doing commentary the night that you, Nigel, came out and picked up the microphone and made a full apology to everyone at Peach State, including your tag team partner and co-champion Shane Knowles, where you also left a very specific item for him, and everybody took that gesture as, wow, in a sincere method. And coming out of that night, the building blocks were in place. And is it amazing to both of you? And Nigel, I'm going to go to you first on this. I know that we're all limited on time, and I'm just going to make this one quick before I hit promo mode. Does it amaze you that things have fallen into place ever since that night, to where you've gone from trying to mend the bridge and make things right to the fact that you and Shane are now tag team champions?
Oh, absolutely. And I love every minute of it. I had simply come out to apologize. The contract was up, and it just so happens that I happened to be in town at the next show coming through town, and I said, well, I want to stop by and watch the show. And just ever since then, like you said, everything's unfolded, and I love every minute of it, because like I said, Shane is one of my dearest friends in the business. So to be able to wrestle alongside him, hold the tag team championships, in a business where you don't have a lot of friends, and sometimes it's just business, it's not fun, it certainly has been a great experience. I've loved it.
Shane, same question.
Yeah, if you asked me this question at this very moment in time last year, I'd have told you I didn't want to hear Nigel Sherrod's name mentioned around me. That Chamber of Commerce award that was awarded from the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce for Good Citizenship Award, that meant something, to be recognized in the community for live events and what Peach State does, and to have that taken from me. I think I got to hold it all of maybe 2 minutes. But I watched that, and it just so happened, when he did that, I was in the opening match against Simon Sermon, and watching it on the monitor, I still had my doubts about, okay, is this guy sincere, etc. And I hear my music hit, and when I come out of the curtain, he's standing in the entranceway waiting for me. And I don't know what it was. I just made eye contact with him. So organic, it was just a hug. And that hug, that embrace, lasted for a good while. And he just told me, there's no other way to say it, I'm sorry. And I said, you've said enough. No words were needed. That hug just cemented it, because it's one thing to say it with words, and he could have easily walked away, but he stood there and waited for me, and also gave me the award on the way out to the ring. And I just don't think there's any more pure moments of generosity than what I saw in Nigel. That friendship that has been mended is actually better than it ever has been, because we know what it's like to be on opposite sides of the fence. I think it's made the bond even stronger.
Ladies and gentlemen, my tag team partner and his tag team partner will be defending the PWA Tag Team Championships tonight at the historic VFW Fairgrounds, 1625 Bankhead Highway in Carrollton, Georgia. Peach State Wrestling Alliance presents the quest to be the best. Tag team titles on the line and the first round of the Sweet 16 for the PWA Heritage Championship. CB Suave taking on Gil Quest. Jimmy Rave taking on Drew Adler. Sal Renaro taking on Fry Daddy. Jeter taking on AJ Steele. And I'm not going to discount any match, but I'm going to sit back and say this. Jeter, Steele, I've said it before. I'll say it again. This will be one of the hardest hitting matches that you will see, period. Every match on this card could be a main event anywhere in the southeastern U.S., and I will venture to say probably even outside of that realm. Because when you're talking about personalities like Jimmy Rave and Drew Adler, these guys going head up, this is a match of the year candidate. I'm not going to pull a punch on that one. Renaro Fry Daddy, this is one that's going to have people talking for quite a while. CB Suave and Gil Quest, definitely one that's going to have people drawn into it, and you're going to have fun watching this match. But Jeter and AJ Steele, I'm using this analogy, kids. The punches will be so hard that you will measure the impact on a Richter scale. That's how hard these two hit. You will sit back and go, damn, did I feel a rush of wind? Yes, you did. Let's do this. Doors open 7 o'clock p.m. Bell time is 8. And Shane, I'm throwing back to you. Ticket availability.
Front row seats are sold out, as well as all stage seating sold out for this evening. There are still general admission tickets. You can get in touch with us, 770-328-1162 or 770-328-2251. Some general admission is still left. The second row is about half capacity. And before we let him go, I got to take a moment here and just ask Nigel, you and I are not in the quest to be the best Heritage title tournament, and no complaints here as we have gold of our own to defend. But just curious, looking through the brackets, I'm going to ask you, who do you think comes out of this thing when the dust settles and the smoke clears on May 21st?
Wow. Well, first of all, by the way, the show is stacked tonight. I'll just have to agree with that. As a wrestling fan, not even being on the card, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to watch on the back monitor. Sometimes you pay attention, sometimes you don't when you're back there. I'm looking forward to this one. That being said, it's hard to narrow it down to just one, but if I had to put my money on it, I'd have to say that Jimmy Rave has showed so much heart, just over the past couple of years and sharing locker rooms with him. I just see him taking home the gold.
Gentlemen, I know you're pressed for time, and I want to thank you for every second. Greatly appreciated. Shane, thank you. Do me a favor. Let's go ahead and do the shameless plugs real quick. Shane, how can everybody track you and PWA down?
You can reach me personally via email, ShaneKnowles@gmail.com. For Peach State, you can check out our website, PeachStateWrestlingAlliance.com. You can also email us, PWAFanbase@yahoo.com, as well as on Twitter, @TheRealPWA. I think Nigel gets that reference wholeheartedly. We're also on Instagram as well as our Facebook page, Peach State Wrestling Alliance.
And Nigel, how can everybody track you down on social and also other upcoming appearances?
Sure, just Facebook basically is the best way to keep in touch with me. Just type in my name and you'll find me. I think I'm the only Nigel Sherrod out there, so I'm easy to find that, and on Twitter. I oftentimes tweet funny thoughts and so on and so forth. So those are your two ways to get a hold of me.
Any other appearances you want to throw out there?
No, coming up, I've got some work with Impact Wrestling. Going to be doing some stuff in Athens. Nothing that I think I'm going to even be coming to Wrestle Birmingham. Linda called me up the other day, promoter for Wrestle Birmingham, and she wanted a little bit of Nigel Trump. So I don't know if Nigel Sherrod will be over there, but Nigel Trump, my alter ego, will be in Alabama. So.
Gentlemen, I look forward to seeing y'all in a few hours. Folks, tell you what, we are going to head to the top of the hour break, so I will say to my tag team partner, Shane Knowles, always a pleasure, my friend. I'll see you in a few. To Nigel Sherrod, thank you for taking the time to come on this morning, guys, and I'll see you in Carrollton tonight. Folks, bear with us. The Shooters Gallery rolls on. Going to be joined by a good friend of the family, Gene Jackson, right here. We'll be back right after this.
This is the voice of excellence at Excellent Professional Wrestling at Not the Tool Man, Tim Taylor. Usually I'm locked into Excellent Professional Wrestling, but now you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Runner, Fast Eddie Lane, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
The board is war, and you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
This is Bob Allen, co-author of Gordon Soley's Something Left Behind and the Soley Chronicles, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is the seven-figure deal Ace Rockwell, and as long as Wicked Nemesis isn't on the show, please listen. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
On the live version, 4 minutes after the top of the 11 o'clock hour of the Central Time Zone. On the replay side of life, thank you for listening. On this 5th day of March, Fast Eddie Lane, live from Studio One. First off, saying a very special thank you, tag team partner Shane Knowles, for right here at the Shooters Gallery. Always great to be tag team partners in that direction. And his tag team partner, with the PWA Tag Team Champions, Nigel Sherrod, Mr. As Seen on TV. I didn't get a chance to get that, but we will have Nigel back on in the very near future. Let's do this thing. Inadvertent home run round. It's going to be an abbreviated broadcast today. We're going to the bottom of the hour, maybe a little bit longer. We're just trying to put everything in play. And being joined by good friend of the family. He is known, I do believe, as the king of all wrestling media, Mr. Gene Jackson. Gene, how you doing this morning?
Doing great this morning, Eddie. How are you?
Tired. Or to use my favorite phrase, tattered and torn, but still intact.
I hear you.
Now, first off, I know things are going crazy in the world of Gene Jackson. I know you've got Twin States on the horizon like tomorrow, but in addition to that, what all have you got going on, man? I know I'm staying busy behind the microphone as well.
Yeah, well, I've got New South next weekend. They've actually got 2 shows going on next weekend. They'll be in Fayetteville on Friday night, and then we'll be back in Hartselle on Saturday night. And I won't be a part of the Fayetteville show, but I will be in Hartselle. And then, of course, me and Cabana Man Dan provide the commentary for that. Their DVDs are going up on Smart Mark Video. I think the last show just got put up as a download. It'll be available on DVD soon, so that's always fun. And then this past Saturday night, I did commentary for $10 Wrestling, the Kevin Brennan project down in Weauguska, and I got a chance to work with comedian Tim Statham, and we had a great time calling that show. I don't know if the wrestlers will have a great time watching it, because we were pretty rough on some folks, but it was a good time nonetheless.
And Lord, yeah, and knowing $10 the way I do, with of course Kevin at the helm, anything can happen. And I know good friends Mark Mabo Bowman and Adam Coffey, 2 Tons of Agony, were down there, DXL, celebrating his birthday. So, and I know they had a blast at the show. That's the easy way to say it. Chaos. Now, the $10 show is coming out on VOD, right?
Yes. It'll be coming out on video on demand, and it'll be on DVD as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I had a lot of fun doing that one. And I had a huge crowd down there, man. It was in the most remote location you could imagine. I mean, literally
Weauguska,
out in the middle of nowhere. Me and my wife got lost out there trying to find it, and we ended up on a bunch of 1-lane bridges, and every house had a rebel flag out front, and it felt like we had traveled back in time. But we finally found the building, and then apparently 300 and something other people managed to find it as well, because they were packed in there. It was a sight to see.
Now, sliding over, if I could, I know that you had been doing and correct me if I'm wrong, I know that you had been on and off doing a podcast. Are you still doing that?
Well, now's one of those off times. You're exactly right. It's an on and off thing. I get the itch to do it, or I have some people that I want to talk to, and I'll do a series of them, and then I'll stop for a while, and then I'll kind of come in and say, hey, I want to talk to these people, and I'll do it. But inconsistent, to say the least. But yeah, the Locals to Legends Wrestling Radio pops up from time to time, and anybody wants to check out past episodes and any future ones that may be coming up, plus there's stuff about Twin States Wrestling on there, you can go to localstolegends.com, and pretty much all the Gene Jackson you could ever possibly stand is available on that website. And more.
There you go. But wait, there's more. Yeah, I understand the concept. It's like, damn, how many shows is Eddie doing? Can he ever shut up? Yes, I'm trying to shut up every once in a while. That's why I'm trying to get a second producer. But hashtag lost cause, COSZ. We'll talk later about that one. And somebody just threw their speaker across the room. I just saw it go flying in my imagination. You make a reference to Twin States Wrestling. Now, the home, of course, very well known, 627 Southern Avenue. A address that I have committed to memory, even though I've never personally been there. Also known as...
I know, man. I always have to look it up, and I've been working there for 5 years. It's amazing that you know that off the top of your head.
And a lot of fun has been had in that building. I know that, of course, Pro South Wrestling runs there on every Friday night. From there, they've also had some other events come through the doors, but Twin States Wrestling making a very solid home at what is known as the Pro South Arena, 627 Southern. Going into tomorrow. Now, folks, real quick, listen closely on this one. And this is something a lot of people will definitely appreciate. This is not a Sunday night show. This is a Sunday afternoon show, 2:30 Central Time start time. So for those who go to church in the morning, whether it's in West Georgia, East Alabama, Southern Tennessee, you will be able to make it in a relatively good time. Because most churches let out anywhere between 11 a.m. and 12:30. And if they let out at 12:30, you're still going to have 2 hours to get there to have a great time at a show that the entire family can enjoy. Taking that one step further, for those who like to go for your evening services at 5:30 and 6, you will still probably have time to make it to your nighttime service. So if Sunday services are a thing, guess what? I think I just nipped that in the bud, right, Gene?
You did. I appreciate that, because that's exactly what we were shooting for. If going to church is your thing, and hey, nothing wrong with that. Hopefully it is. You get out in time to make it to the show, and the show ends. Typically, we try to wrap the show up by 5 o'clock, so you got plenty of time to make it to the evening service, or at the very least, just to go home and rest and psych yourself up for another great work week on Monday morning.
Oh, you said the W word in my presence. I'm sorry. That's going to cost you a large order of wings at B-Dubs.
Oh, all right. I'll handle it.
Just don't ask me to go to the H place. That's all I'm going to say. I'll find a good mom and pop place that has good wings at a good price. We'll talk other than that. But coming up tomorrow, let's take a look at it real quick. $5,000 Real Deal Old School Challenge as the Real Deal Neil Taylor. Try saying that 3 times fast.
That's a mouthful, ain't it?
And then you add the manager, Mr. Sensational, onto that, taking on Donnie Primetime, who a lot of people know as Donnie Primetime III, DP3. Tell us a little bit about this match.
Well, these guys squared off in the Battle for the Belt tournament back in January, where we crowned the champion, right. And they met in the first round. And by the way, for anybody who wasn't able to be at that show, which were a lot of people who weren't at that show, but if you go to youtube.com/cheapheattv, every match from the Battle for the Belt show is on there. It is available with commentary from myself and Mr. David Pierce, who you probably know, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I'll be working with him tonight.
We're both on there, and we're calling matches. So in that first show, Neil Taylor and his manager, Mr. Sensational, managed to injure the knee of Donnie Primetime, and at that point it felt like they had things pretty well in hand and got kind of cocky and just kind of beat on him for a little bit and felt like they could pretty much just pin him anytime he got ready. So Neil got ready to go for his patented pile driver, and Mr. Primetime took advantage and swooped around and got a quick schoolboy roll-up and won and continued on in the tournament. And Neil wasn't too happy about that and attacked him after the match and beat on his knee pretty good. And some people would speculate that might be why Donnie Primetime was not able to beat Eric Wayne in the semifinals. But anyway, just wanted to mention that to kind of explain how we come about this. Well,
sure.
Neil Taylor and Mr. Sensational contacted me and told me they have this $5,000 old school challenge. Essentially, the way it's explained to me, I don't know. This is their baby, but they're going to have a bowl, a fish bowl, or some sort of holding device that's going to have a bunch of old school wrestling matches, classic Memphis and Continental style, for lack of a better word, gimmick matches that you might remember from your childhood. And they're going to throw them all in this bowl, and any opponent that wanted to accept this challenge can come out, draw a match type out of this bowl, and take on Neil Taylor. And if they can beat him in whatever match they draw out, him and Mr. Sensational will pay him $5,000.
Really?
Well, fresh off of that last match, Donnie Primetime still wanted a piece of Neil Taylor, and anybody wants a piece of $5,000. So Donnie Primetime stepped up and accepted the challenge. So thus we have this rematch tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon rather, with $5,000 on the line, and plus a chance for Donnie to get revenge for them injuring his knee to the point that he pretty much had to submit to Eric Wayne pretty quick into that next match they had.
Speaking of, Eric Wayne taking on Moose tomorrow.
Yeah, that's one I'm pretty excited about. A lot of people are. You know, Moose, Ring of Honor star, former Atlanta Falcon, has been in Japan for the last couple of weeks. From what I hear, he's had a pretty successful tour over in Japan, and he was flying back yesterday to have a show tonight in Delaware.
Right.
Then he's flying out of Delaware to Atlanta to be to Piedmont tomorrow to take on Eric Wayne. So Eric Wayne is a good wrestler in his own right. He's looking to prove something. He's looking to make a name for himself. So can he capitalize on a perhaps jet-lagged and I'm sure very worn-out and beat-up Moose coming into Piedmont, maybe not at the top of his game after all this touring he's done? Can Eric Wayne take advantage of that and pull out what would be a huge victory and a huge feather in his cap if he could beat ROH star Moose?
We talk about heroes in the world of professional wrestling tomorrow at Twin States Wrestling. The Last Hero, Ace Haven with Amy Haven, taking on Shane Marks with DeWitt Dawson.
You know, originally this match was scheduled to be Ace Haven against Tony Strong, who's a really talented guy out of South Texas. And, you know, Tony had declared himself the real hero, and of course Ace is the last hero, so it was billed as Heroes Collide, and unfortunately, due to some travel issues that came up just the day before yesterday, it was revealed that Tony was not going to be able to make it to Alabama from Texas. And so I had to go out in search of a replacement opponent for Ace. And, you know, a lot of times when you got to find a last-minute replacement, it's not always ideal. It's not maybe up to the standard of who you originally had. But I think in this case, we have found more than an adequate replacement. Ace Haven might even say maybe a tougher challenge just because he's not really that familiar with Tony Strong, but I know he knows what Shane Marks is all about, and I'm pretty sure you're pretty well aware of Shane Marks as well.
The revelation, Shane Marks.
I'm really looking forward to that match.
And you've got two very talented managers at ringside. Like I said, of course, Ace Haven being represented by Amy Haven, and of course, the revelation Shane Marks being represented by DeWitt Dawson. And that match in and of itself should be a lot of fun. You got to keep your eyes open outside the ring as well as inside the ring. So you better have eyes trained to go in three directions at once. Do the math.
Absolutely.
A number one contenders match for the TSW Championship. Jeremy Flint, I want to ask about this in a second because I've heard that this is one of those precarious circumstances that as a promoter, you could end up having this come back and bite you in the wazoo. But I'm going to sit back and say Jeremiah Plunkett taking on the Strong Style Psycho Tank in a number one contenders match with Jeremy Flint barred from the building. Gene?
Well, I'll tell you how this came about. This is another rematch from Battle for the Belt, right. And if you go back and watch all those matches on YouTube, and everyone will agree, the hardest hitting match from round one was Jeremiah Plunkett versus Tank, and that was to be expected. We discussed that on this very show,
right?
Before the tournament took place, and they had a very hard hitting match. And it could have went either way. And Jeremy Flint interjected himself at the end and distracted Tank, allowing Jeremiah Plunkett to get the victory. From there, Flint tried to interfere in the Chase Owens-Jeremiah Plunkett match in the next round. However, his interference that time backfired, and Chase Owens got the victory. And then after being upset about failing to continue on in the tournament, they attacked my nephew, Britt Jackson, and beat him down until Tank come out and made the save and tried to get his hands on them to get a little bit of revenge for them costing him his spot in the tournament. So at one point, this was originally scheduled to be a tag team match with Tank and Britt Jackson taking on Jeremy and Jeremiah Plunkett. Well, some circumstances came up that caused Britt Jackson not to be able to take part in the show. And upon further review from the higher-ups at Twin States Wrestling, after watching those videos when they came out on YouTube, they felt like Tank didn't get a fair shake in the tournament, and that he, perhaps he could have went on to the finals, perhaps he could have won the title had not been for the interference of Jeremy Flint. They decided the fair thing to do would be to give him a rematch where if he can beat Jeremiah Plunkett, he could be number one contender and get another shot at the title. But we felt the only way to make it fair was to ban Jeremy Flint from the building. So Jeremy Flint will not even be allowed access to the building. He won't even be allowed to buy a ticket if he shows up tomorrow. And we're going to finally get to see Tank and Jeremiah Plunkett one-on-one and see if Plunkett can replicate his victory from January without Jeremy Flint's help.
It is tag team partners galore this morning on the Shooters Gallery. Like to welcome in my tag team partner from Beyond Ringside Live, Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, which, of course, this week will be on hiatus because of the fact we're both on road trips this week. Mark Mabo Bowman, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I heard that ring announcer guy for Twin States Wrestling, he's really hot and really single. I mean, I'm all like hashtag no homo, but I heard he was really hot and single. And, if there's any hot single chicks who want to do weird stuff, should contact him.
Did you just say want to do it?
They could contact him through, just go ahead and give me your number and I'll get in touch with him.
Okay.
Good morning, Mabo.
What's up, Genester?
I'm doing all right. I'm getting excited for tomorrow. Have you calmed down from your interaction with Dick last Saturday night, or are you still on a high from that?
Don't start.
Well, seeing as how this is Saturday morning, I will keep the Dick references to a minimal. But I will say this: that it was thoroughly enjoyable being able to be that close to Dick and just be able to hold Dick and hug Dick.
And I'll cut him off by saying he is referring to pro wrestling star Super Cop Dick Justice. So there.
Yes, that is in reference to Dick Justice, who has the most tremendous, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin hair.
Yeah.
You just can't appreciate it till you see it there in person.
Oh, it actually, Gene, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down? It brushed up against my forearm. And
wow!
I got cold shivers. I really did. It was just like
I can imagine.
And folks, for those of you listening right now, yes, we worry about Mark that damn much. But by the same token, I have to yes, and Beyond Ringside Live's very own Mark Mabo Bowman will be the guest ring announcer tomorrow for Twin States Wrestling. Actually, guest ring announcer? No, the ring announcer for Twin States Wrestling tomorrow in Piedmont, Alabama. Mark, congratulations once again.
Well, I was just going to say, I was like, what were you guys talking about before I came on the air? I'm guest ring announcer now?
No, you're the ring announcer.
No, he's full time. He's got it.
Actually, if you didn't notice, I switched from guest to the. I corrected myself.
No, actually, I was just calling him. I'm on the road taking care of some personal business. There's a few of you who actually really just Eddie. Actually, I don't even think Eddie knows. No, Eddie knows. All the situation I'm in, so I'm in the middle of taking care of that. But I wanted to make sure that the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, was on the air, and that and I have no doubt that Eddie, much like with our other guests, treats him with nothing but reverence and respect. And I just want to make sure that the word for tomorrow's show for Twin States Wrestling, Revolution, is getting out there.
Oh, ye of little faith. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and segue into it. Main event of the evening, or the afternoon, so to speak, for the Twin States Championship. Chase Owens taking on Jimmy Rave. Gene?
Well, this is from what I've been told by quite a few. This is one of those indie dream matches for a lot of people that hasn't happened. You've got the guy who is referred to as the crown jewel of the Bullet Club, taking on the guy who was once referred to as the crown jewel of the Embassy in Ring of Honor. If you remember, in his time in Ring of Honor, they did refer to him as the crown jewel back then. So we got the battle of the crown jewels, if you will. Of course, now he's known as the savior of pro wrestling, and after some of the actions from Chase Owens at the last show, he may be considered the savior of Twin States wrestling if he could come in and take the belt away from him, because there were a lot of people, a lot of fans who did not appreciate the actions of Chase Owens. You know how the Bullet Club is, and
oh yeah,
he was true to it. It was crotch chops for everybody and all kinds of vulgar behavior, and he's got a very stiff challenge coming from Jimmy Rave, and I think that's going to be an excellent match, and I think that's going to be a hard one for anyone to predict which way that one's going to go.
Folks, I'm going to go ahead and say this one like this. You hear me use these words every once in a while, and I'm going to go ahead and use these words now. For anyone who wants to genuinely see a pure wrestling match, I'm going to sit here and tell you point blank, Chase Owens, Jimmy Rave, for everybody who likes to call themselves a fan, for those who call themselves pundits of this industry and this business and this sport known as pro wrestling, this will be a match of the year candidate. I don't care who you are. Legit, straight up. Yes, kids, that's called a shoot. Chase Owens and Jimmy Rave, two of the top tier competitors working anywhere in the lower 48, much less the southeastern United States. You get these two guys in a ring, you are going to see, and no pressure whatsoever, guys. So, you can see every facet of professional wrestling, from a technical masterpiece in the making to a knockdown, drag-out brawl. These two can go on any side of that fence any day of the week. I've worked with Chase Owens. I've worked with Jimmy Rave. These guys are absolutely tremendous, and I'm looking forward to being able to see this match further on down the road, because unfortunately I won't be able to be there, but I know Mabo is going to give us a full report on it. Who is... Sorry.
Well,
I thought I put my phone on vibrate.
I'm very proud to have on the show, and I think it kind of sets a standard for what Twin States is all about and is trying to be about. I think if someone asks about Twin States and you tell them, that's who's wrestling for the championship, I would like to think that defines us as a top tier company, just to bring those type of guys together.
Yes, the whole card is stacked. Look, from start to finish, it looks like it's going to be a great outing, a fun show, and something that fans of all ages can enjoy. Do me a favor.
Well, I hope that everybody comes out and supports us. I hope we have a big crowd. Last time it was a critical success. Everyone who saw it, whether it was there live or on YouTube, I didn't really hear any complaints. I heard one guy was griping about the fireball that Eric Wayne threw, but he was a wrestler from Georgia who didn't see the show. He saw a 20-second clip of a fireball from him. Other than that, everybody spoke very highly of the show, be it the workers and the fans that have watched it. So I hope that everybody comes out and supports us tomorrow so we can continue to keep bringing more great wrestling on a Sunday afternoon, because Pro South has a great show every Friday night, and they have great wrestlers, and the matches are great. But we're trying to bring something a little different, so that if you decide to go on Sunday, you're not seeing the exact same people you saw on Friday. And that's not to say that it's any better. It's just different. It's just an alternative. And I hope people will make the drive to Piedmont from wherever they're at to come support the show, and then check out some matches that you aren't going to find anywhere else.
You're going to find some great matches at this show tomorrow. That is a guarantee. Doors open at what time?
Doors will be opening at 1:30. Doors are opening at 2, and the bell time will be 2:30.
How much are tickets, and how can people get them?
Adults are $8. Children's are $6. You can get them at the door, or if you go on Facebook.com/Twin States Wrestling, you can click on the event link, and you can go ahead and buy your tickets through brownpapertickets.com, which is a great website. And go ahead and buy your tickets now and walk right in tomorrow.
Folks, I'm going to ask Gene to repeat one thing. Ticket prices for adults are how much?
$8.
Okay, everybody knows my penchant in going off. Dude, $8, that's a hell of a price on tickets. I love it.
Well, that's what we want to do. Last time, it's pretty much the standard these days seems to be $10 for most shows, and we went that route the first time, but this time we wanted to lower the prices a little bit and give everybody a break, and hopefully more people will come check it out and give us a try. And I'm not saying we're going to jack the prices up next time. If we have a building full of $8, then great. Well, that'll be our ticket price for moving forward. But we thought we would lower the ticket prices and help people out, because I know being a Sunday show for a lot of the hardcore wrestling fans, they probably already went to Pro South on Friday night, and they probably drove somewhere and went to a show on Saturday night, and it gets to be expensive. So we're trying to give everybody a break and give them a little better price, but not skimp on the show. We're giving them a hopefully what I would consider a $25 to $30 show for $8. So.
Exactly. I mean, that's a great lineup, and the price is hella good. Real quick, how can everybody track down you as well as Twin States on social media?
For Twin States, again, Facebook.com/Twin States Wrestling. On Twitter, it would be Twin States Pro, and then at Twin States Pro. You can tell I'm not used to promoting the Twitter as much as I should. As for me, if you want to find me on Facebook, it's Facebook.com/King of All Wrestling Media. On Twitter, it's Twitter.com, and it's at Vince Hates Us All. And like I said, for all of it, if you want to find every bit of that, you can just go to localstolegends.com, and pretty much everything associated with myself, the podcast, and Twin States Wrestling can all be found right there in one central location, including Cheap Heat TV, which, like I said, has up all the matches from the first Twin States show. So if you kind of want to get a sample of what you'd be in for tomorrow, you can go to Cheap Heat TV on YouTube, check out some of the matches, some really, really great matches from that first show at Battle for the Belt, and you can check those out. There's a lot of crazy interviews I've done at shows, for some serious, most for the sake of comedy. So you can check those out while you're there as well. Plus a bunch of playlists, a lot of old school, old Continental, Memphis, just all kinds of old classic wrestling stuff I've uploaded there to Cheap Heat TV there on YouTube.
Brother, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and you've always got a home here on Beyond Ringside Radio.
Hey, I sure appreciate it. I always have a blast when I'm on here, and I thank you guys for supporting everything that I do, and you guys do a great job, and I enjoy listening to the show as well.
We appreciate it, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only King of All Wrestling Media, Gene Jackson, right here on the Shooters Gallery. Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Folks, getting ready to head for the Radio Ranch on this Saturday morning. Want to give a quick rundown once again. You've got Twin States tomorrow, 2:30. The lineup is great. Please take the time. Central Alabama, Northeast Alabama, West Georgia, South Tennessee, definitely check it out. Once again, tonight the road trip is on Peach State Wrestling Alliance in Carrollton, Georgia, and the hashtag BR Road Trip Weekend continues tomorrow, Atlanta, Georgia, with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment as AWE presents Almost Famous. Yes, I just said that. I'm sorry. 4 p.m. at the Famous Pub on North Druid Hills Road in Atlanta, Georgia. So, I'm sorry, I just 3 things hit at once, including a text message. Sorry about that. The rematch, Sugar Dunkerton versus Ethan Page. Once again, if you have not seen these two go at it, this rematch is going to be off the chain, off the chart, off the scale. You name it, it's going to be that damn good. Ethan Page, Sugar Dunkerton, 2 top-flight superstars. The Spring Street Challenge hits the road. Team IOU challenges the Spring Street Suicide Squad tomorrow at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. A match, look, I use this term, hard-hitting and then some. This is one you will not want to blink during. The Being of Unspeakable Horror, Iceberg, taking on Combat Zone Wrestling's very own DJ Hyde. The ladies of WSU come to the Roar division of AWE as Brittany Blake takes on Penelope Ford, one-on-one action in the Roar division. Drew Adler taking on Space Monkey tomorrow at AWE. This is one you're going to want to see. In a championship ranking system challenge match, Martin Stone takes on Slade Porter, and the fallout continues from Hail the King, The Hierarchy, Chip Day, Murder One, and Kimber Lee take on the AWE Heroes, Owen Knight, Kira Hogan, and Adrian Armour. Anything will happen in this match. Anything can happen in this match. Tomorrow, AWE at the famous pub on North Druid Hills Road. Folks, check out ATL Wrestling ENT on Twitter, also Instagram, AtlantaWrestlingEntertainment.com. I'm being pulled in so many different directions right now, folks, because we've got a lot going on here at Studio One. Plus, I've got to hit the road in about 10 minutes from right now. I want to say thank you to Gene Jackson for coming on board. Mark Bowman, of course, always a pleasure. Thank you for the audio bomb. To my tag team partner, Shane Knowles, getting ready for everything tonight in Carrollton. To Nigel Sherrod, Mr. As Seen on TV, thank you for coming on. It's been a stacked 90-plus minutes. Folks, thank you for listening. I'll give you the quick rundown. Once again, Beyond Ringside Live will be on hiatus tomorrow. However, from that vantage point, live programming will continue. Tuesday, March 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, Beyond Ringside Back to Basics, the 10 Count returns. Wednesday the 9th, the To Be Determined show with the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, Angie Nemesis, and maybe Clyde Braddock. Thursday, March 10th, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, Corner to Corner, Stan Grubb and Company on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. And 1 week from today, Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery returns on the 12th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Time. The band will be back together. And of course, 1 week from tomorrow on the 13th, Beyond Ringside Live continues our returns live. And I'm hoping that we will have in the very near future the exclusive interview with the Reverend Dan Wilson to find out exactly how deep the rabbit hole runs up at Empire after the beating that was and the situation that occurred between him and the White Rose. Midnight Black Mass, looking forward to a return on that one. Also, got some new projects on the horizon. Thank you to everybody listening in through BeyondRingside.com as well as ProWrestlingRadio.net, as well as through TuneIn, the Beyond Ringside Radio app, Shoutcast, as well as Ustream on the recorded side through iHeartRadio, through, of course, YouTube, Daily Motion, all the different venues, Podomatic, Spreaker, Stitcher. God, I should have this in front of me, and I don't because I forgot where I put the damn file. But 25 minutes before the top of the hour, once again, to my tag team partner here on the Tribe at Studio One, Mike, congratulations, happy birthday. You're old, damn it. And I've got the studio door locked where he can't come in. Until next time, for all of us here on the Beyond Ringside family of shows, I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, saying adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abbasigna, au revoir, and until we meet again, friends, aloha means bye-bye. Join us right here next time as we all go Beyond Ringside. Bye for now.